Gil Tamari, the Israeli man who entered Mecca, has caused widespread outrage and anger. How is it possible that a non-Muslim was able to enter this holy site? Who acted as an accomplice? And how did no one find out? Stay tuned to this video as we will be investigating this historic news scoop that has rocked the Muslim world. Tamari works for Channel 13 and is the first Jewish Israeli reporter to document the Muslim pilgrimage of Hajj. Tamari was in the country on special permission granted by the Saudi government for coverage of Joe Biden's diplomatic visit. But then, he decided to break the Saudi law and entered Mecca, a holy place that non-Muslims are not allowed to set foot in. You might be thinking that maybe he didn't know about the strict rule, but no. Tamari can be seen boasting in his videos how he's aware of the law, but just wants to show the place that is so important to our Muslim brothers and sisters. His coverage was aired on the Israeli news channel 13 and did not receive accolades from the Jewish audience as well. In the captured video, which lasts for approximately 10 minutes, Tamari is seen visiting Mount Arafat, but soon the religious police started noticing him and asking questions to determine whether he was a Muslim or not. It became quite apparent this man had accomplices that helped him get into the holy site. A Saudi man has been arrested on the suspicion of helping Tamari sneak in. This unnamed national is all set to be prosecuted. Tamari would not be left off the hook as well. The Saudi media has stated that certain procedures will be applied on him as well. Some people have blamed this incident on the Saudi government, who has slowly started to develop ties with Israel. It has recently allowed Israeli planes to fly in their airspace. The motive behind the improved relationship is to keep a close eye on the concerns about Iran. The healing of the historical rift between the Saudis and Israelites will have massive changes in the geopolitics of the region. But Saudi has made it very clear that effectively normalizing ties will require a Palestinian state with Jerusalem as the capital. Time will tell how this situation will unfold in the future. Tamari isn't the first person to set foot in the Holy Land. Ben Zion, a Russian-born Jew, visited mosques including Iran, Lebanon, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. He shared his photos and video on social media accounts. He can be seen standing in the Mosque of the Prophet in Medina, the second holiest site after the Kaaba. He was seen wearing traditional Arab garments and pointing to his name, which was written in Hebrew on a bag that he was carrying. His account was flooded by angry comments from the Muslims. When Zion spoke to an Israeli newspaper, he stated that visiting holy sites was a hobby and he did not mean to offend anyone. He considers himself a friend of Islam and has respect for Islam and the Arab world. He said that even after he told people that he was a Jew, he was still met with love and respect in Tehran, Beirut, and Riyadh. This was a time during which the Saudis were banning the Qataris from entering the country, but they had allowed an Israeli Jew to enter. So obviously, this caused a lot of controversy. Zion didn't hide his Jewish identity and made great efforts not to offend anyone. He said, "When I am going to a holy site, I got there with respect, with dignity, and love toward people, not with hatred or mockery or trying to be in any way, shape, or form disrespectful. This would be the last of my intentions. I got there as a friend." But how did Zion enter Saudi Arabia? He said that he entered the country legally, using a valid foreign passport and acquiring visas through the correct process. He entered Medina through the correct channels and stated that only pilgrims that have to go to Mecca are required to get a special Hajj visa. All other religious sites are accessible to the general public. Soon after that, another non-Muslim couple entered Mecca. The man was a Christian, residing in Saudi due to work, while the woman was a Jew. The woman was very fascinated by the rites and rituals of Hajj and desired to go and see the house of Allah. They dressed in traditional Arab clothes and attempted to get in. Lucky for them, they weren't stopped. This couple was so blown away by the beauty and magnificence of the Kaaba that they both started weeping and eventually converted to Islam. One might wonder why the entry of non-Muslims is barred. This ruling is based on the Quranic verse, "O believers, polytheists are not accept filth, so let them not approach the sacred mosque after this year of theirs." This verse was revealed in the 9th year after Hijrah, which is therefore what is meant by the phrase, "this year of theirs." The year is ascribed to them in the verse to emphasize the fact that the legal ruling therein is specified to them alone. Most Quranic exegetes, mufassirun, interpreted the first statement as metaphorical. That is, polytheists are not literally filth, but their creed of associating partners with Allah is so base and vile in the sight of Allah that it is akin to filth itself, so much so that it is as if those who adhere to such beliefs are themselves filth. As for the legal ruling derived from the verse as mentioned above, there was disagreement among jurists historically. Also, one can easily understand that in order to provide a peaceful place to the Muslims to perform their obligatory pilgrimage, it is required to not allow tourists to enter, as that would disrupt the spirituality of this visit and add a lot more congestion. Some people who criticize this restriction can be given the example of how civilians are not usually allowed in cantonment areas. It is just not in the best interest of security. In order to enter Mecca or go to Kaaba, one must perform ablution and must be in a state of purity. Since non-Muslims are not aware of the rules and protocols, understandably so, that is why they are also not allowed to enter. You might be surprised to know that it is not only Islam that disallows people outside the realm of the religion from entering holy sites, but there are also some Hindu temples that don't allow any non-Hindus to enter. Some of them are the Guruvayur Temple, Jagannath Temple, Kashi Vishwanath Temple, and a few more. The Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ also restrict entry to their major churches by people who are outside the faith. Zakir Naik has summed up the issue of entry in a very beautiful way. He has said that in every country, a visa is required to enter, and in the case of Mecca, the visa required is that one should be Muslim. We hope you liked today's video and learned some interesting facts. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our amazing content.